G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to discuss the game last night, which was Geelong and Essendon at Etihad Stadium with a fair crowd there. I think it was around 43,000, so
It was good atmosphere.
yeah, a few people came along. It was Geelong in the end by 9 points. Out of jail once again, they just keep finding away, these Catters. They're a very cheeky footy side. We know they're good, but they just flaunt it a little bit, but
Especially under the roof. We just like to have a few close ones there of late.
absolutely. On the Friday night, we certainly love giving our supporters heart attacks, but no, that's fine. So, mate, you went to the game. How did you see it all pan out?
Yeah, well, the first half was really good, but then, as so often happens, we can't seem to string four quarters together.
Yes.
A few key points the major point is the goals in succession from opposition teams that I've noticed. I know Carlton kicked 6 against us. Gold Coast, I think it was about 8 unanswered goals. Even Richmond had a run on. And last night, I think it was 5 or 6 goals. I think 5 goals, 5 at one point without us scoring.
Terrible.
And I know, sometimes that happens, but the clearances which we've talked about, there's such big clearances when a side's kicked 2 in a row or 3 in a row and they're coming in that big centre clearance. And again, we just couldn't win them, and that was the catalyst in Essendon coming back. I think it was Heppel and Zaharakis who just went streaming out.
The cleanest clearances you could ever see. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just got to neutralise it at the very least, but they got to run on. But to Geelong's credit, they find a way to win, and if there's a positive out of it, because there wasn't fantastic footy. First half was pretty good, but the second half certainly will get smashed by one of the top 4 sides. But if there's anything really positive out of it, was that we still find a way to win. 7 years ago we did, and still in 2014, the club still has that culture to win.
Yep.
Yeah, how did you see the match, mate? Because I know you certainly were impressed with the first half as well, but the second half, not so much.
Very much so. Yeah, I was pretty nervous in the dying stages, as I'm sure everyone was. But first half really good. The pressure was enormous, and we really had that intent of wanting the footy and just desperation for the contest and wanting to respond after last week's horrible loss. So I thought that was a positive. And seemingly for both sides, off the half back line, we pretty much love to get a bit of run and score a few goals from there, which was pretty promising to get that going. But we just can't allow this to happen to sort of top 4 sides like you were saying, because they'll just tear us to shreds. I mean, you can get, as we've said, we can get away with these sort of performances against maybe Western Bulldogs, Melbourne, maybe GWS, but which I think we've got coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the run.
But we've got to really get a bit more consistency in our game. I think we're all right for personnel, but I think individual performance has really won us the game on the night.
Certainly.
Pretty lucky in the end, but that's sort of how it goes, and you can only just hope we're going to improve, mate.
Yeah, and you mentioned the personnel. If there's 2 spots that I think the midfield is coming along well, with the addition of Caddy and Christensen, they sort of added a lot and will do.
Oh, good.
The back line, personnel-wise, Buse, Smets, it's pretty much there, but I think the second ruck, or the first ruck, sorry, out of 2, McIntosh or Simpson, and the second forward with Kirsten or otherwise. What is your take there, mate? Because obviously Kirsten was pretty good early. Do you think he'll probably play throughout the year?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, you got to give him a crack. You got to give him a few games. I mean, it's pretty easy to knee-jerk and say, oh, he was good early, but sort of went out of it. And that's what young players do. I mean, has done the apprenticeship in the VFL, as they've been saying, but he does need to step up a little bit if he wants to keep Walker out of the side. But I think they'll persevere with him. But let's hope he keeps his spot and provides a bit of a cop out for Tommy, because that's really all we need. We can't just be relying on him all the time. So
hit the nail on the head there.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, that's good. So that's pretty much our bit on the game. Who did you have in your top 3 players, mate?
Yeah, I gave Duncan 3 votes. He's just outstanding. Obviously, being at the game, you don't look at the stats and that as it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have had the most possessions or anything, but he was fantastic in the moments, the big moments. He just stepped up, kicked the goals, and you get a good feel of how much ground he covers, and it's just, he's a champion already, I think. You still hear commentators say, the lesser lights of Duncan. Well, if you're a true Cats fan, you know he's a gun already.
For sure,
and he was fantastic, and I gave him the 3 there. I gave 2 to Motlop, just for, like you mentioned, the individual brilliance. She's just fantastic. Misses the drop punt and kicks too with the bananas. That probably sums him up, but thank God he came back onto the ground after it looked pretty bad with that
I was so
ankle,
scared.
I think it was, but
Knee, maybe?
knee, yeah.
Yep, the knee.
Didn't look good either way, but he was sensational, and I gave one vote to Joel Selwood, who's a familiar figure in this one, but
Yeah.
he was really good. Kicked some crucial goals early as well, and just, ticked all the boxes as far as stats. He had the tackles, contested ball, the clearances and the touches. He just does it all, even if it's not, fashionable all the time. He's always in there getting the hard stuff. But how about yourself? Who'd you give the votes to?
Yeah, pretty similar, just in sort of different positions. But went with Joel Selwood for the 3 votes.
Yeah.
As you said, outstanding captain, just knows how to get the job done. Got the 26 disposals, 7 marks, and kicked a couple of crucial goals. And he also laid 9 tackles, which was pretty exceptional. So yeah, those early goals and just stepping up when we needed them, which was excellent. Mitch Duncan gets my 2 votes. He got the 22 disposals, 10 marks, and also 2 goals, albeit in the last quarter when we really needed them.
Yeah, crucial.
Maybe a bit stiff not to get the 3 votes. And I thought for a moment when, it was in the dying moments, I thought he got the Stevie Milne bounce.
I know.
I couldn't believe it. Brucey was pretty excited. He's like, let it bounce, let it bounce.
He just kept on rolling, but
it was pretty scary, but
just escaped.
A bit of a sigh of relief when Tommy Hawkins kicked the seal with a few seconds left.
Yeah.
Yep, so Mitchy Duncan gets a 2, and the 1 vote to Motlop. The individual brilliance gets him across the line. It was pretty easy to pick the 3 votes this week, I feel.
I think they were clear 3.
I mean, there were lots of noticeable mentions. He got the 21 disposals, 5 marks, and 2 goals when he looked down and out. And he just provides that spark that we really need at times. And even sort of last year, and I guess over the last couple of years when he started, he's really helped us, ignited us to play really well, and it's almost like we've relied on him to sort of really get our game going. But
exactly, he's a real player that can actually break the lines, and he's almost that when he's on, it's a difference from Geelong being a slow team to Geelong looking dangerous.
Absolutely,
it's crazy.
No, you're spot on there, mate.
Yeah.
So Mollop gets my 1 vote there.
Yeah.
Now, who is on the block this week?
The block, mate. Yeah, well, like we've mentioned a couple of times already, the personnel, as far as we've got to choose from, is going pretty well. Obviously, Stokes was out, but I was listening to him on the radio, and they're not quite sure, so it sounds like at least 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So, he obviously won't be back anytime soon. I think, as far as that, probably Dawson Simpson's probably on the block a bit. He was just so-so.
Yeah.
For a guy who has as big a hands as him, I don't know how he doesn't clunk more marks, but...
I know.
Yeah, he was serviceable, but I think probably... He's 25, but as far as matches go, he's pretty inexperienced, and I think McIntosh, when fit, and they'll probably toy around with that from time to time leading into finals, but I think once finals come around, McIntosh is our number 1 ruckman. I think Blitzarves is pretty good secondary as well, so I dare say there's only room for that 1 big ruckman, and I'd say it'd be McIntosh. Whether that's next week or not will depend on McIntosh's fitness, but aside from that, I think that's probably all there'll be. I know Jared Jansen was exceptional a couple of weeks ago in the VFL. Not sure, they probably haven't played this week yet.
I've been hearing a bit about him.
Yeah, he's a clearance king from what I've heard. He's a big sized midfielder, and he's ready to go physically. And I've seen him play some very good games in the VFL. And he might be a sneaky chance. But aside from that, I don't think they'll be making too many changes because, it's in the makings of our final team, which is looking good. But you wanted to have a look at the Dogs next week on the Sunday match, mate?
Yeah, we've got the Doggies at Simmons Stadium, obviously on the Sunday twilight game, which doesn't happen too often, but it's good when it does. Yeah, we traditionally go okay against the Western Bulldogs. We haven't lost to them lately, I don't think.
Not for some time.
I don't think 2007 might be the last time we've lost to them, but I wouldn't. No, 2009 we
Is that when Josh Hill strolled in and kicked the seal?
Oh, maybe, mate. I can't quite remember back that far, but
it hasn't been many times, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, 2009 is probably the most recent one when they were, sort of top 4 and really sort of chasing the premiership. But yeah. And I guess recently we haven't really been smashing them. Even at Simmons Stadium, we're sort of just getting them by 5 or 6 goals, getting the job done kind of thing. It has been usually sort of the tail end of the season, but we really should give them a fair run. But Yeah, I don't think we'll thrash them. I mean, if you want to have a bet, go Geelong under 40. And I reckon
You might.
I reckon that's a pretty safe one. But you never know. I mean, the Doggies are pretty competitive. You know, Brendan McCartney likes to think he knows a bit about what we do. But yeah, no, I think could nearly pencil it in. I mean, we're just the ultimate team at Simmons Stadium, but who knows what will happen. It's been a funny old season, and we're not going to pencil in games yet with the way we've been playing. As we keep reiterating, we can play this type of footy against the not so fortunate teams, but you get to Sydney, Hawthorn, Fremantle, you got to be absolutely 100% on song. So and a bit of luck as well. But any thoughts for you, mate?
Yeah, obviously, like you say, it's a match that we should and almost certainly win. You'd be shocked if we lost, but if there's one goal we want to be looking at is to play 4 quarters. I've heard a couple of players, Stokes, said on Triple M, and so did Hawkins this morning, that consistency is what they're looking for. So even if we only win by 6, 7, 8 goals, whatever it may be, it'd be nice to see a consistent 4-quarter performance.
Yeah,
rather than ebbing and flowing. So I think that'll be the main goal. But yeah, favourable draw, like you say, you can't pencil too many in. But the hopeful supporter just goes, can Geelong finish top 4? You just never know. But you never know. It's very doubtful, obviously, but I'm sure that's what we'll be aiming for with a pretty soft draw. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I hope we get somewhere. I mean, top 4 would be ideal, but
I don't think it will be. But 5th or 6th we'll take home final.
Yeah. All right, mate. That sounds good to me. Alrighty, so those are our thoughts on the game with Geelong and Essendon at Etihad Stadium. Like the video if you enjoyed it and comment your thoughts. And don't forget to check out my mate Dari Joe, who does the Geelong Goal videos each week. He does a spectacular job. I think he's away at the moment, overseas, so I don't think he'll have the video up anytime soon. But I'm pretty sure he's planning to do them when he gets back, so I'm not sure when that is. I'd imagine it'll be a week or 2, but hold tight and he'll get them up for you. So subscribe to us as well. That's always good. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you guys all soon.